Hi children, good morning. In yesterday's lesson you learned about the different respiratory organs, right? And the organs present in human body. What's the difference between breathing and respiration, and what's the meaning of aerobic and anaerobic respiration, respiratory organs and the mechanism of respiration. This all you learned, right? Now today we'll see what about the other all organisms. How do the breathing takes place in other organisms? That's what we are going to discuss today. So our topic is breathing in other organisms. Breathing in other organisms. Like from single cell animals to the multicellular organisms, how breathing takes place. Is it same way from single cell to the higher order animals? That's we are going to discuss now. When we see the single cell animals are like amoeba. Amoeba belongs to the single cell organism. Only single cell will perform all the functions in amoeba. The whole body made up of with single cell, and all the life activities are carried with the help of only single cell. When you see the diagram of an amoeba, it will be in the irregular shape. There is no particular shape for amoeba, and this is known as cell membrane. This cell membrane extends like pseudopodia, means false feet. They appears like a feet, but they are not actually feet of amoeba. This cell membrane, whenever they found any food particle, they extend their cell membrane. They go and surrounds that food particle and they engulf inside. In the same way, the respiration is also taking place with the help of cell membrane. The gas exchange is also takes place. Gases exchange is also taking place with the help of cell membrane. Only single cell is carrying all its life activities. So breathing is also taking place in the form of diffusion through the cell membrane. Cell membrane is helping to exchange the gases. It takes O2 inside and release the CO2 outside in a diffusion manner. Okay. And now when we go to the sponges and jellyfishes. Sponge and jellyfish belongs to multicellular animals, and here also not specialized tissues are not present. Cells are not differentiated into like tissues, but some special cells are there to do the respiration process, to do the breathing process. They have some specialized cells. With the help of these cells, through diffusion process, exchange of gases will take place. More concentrated gases will move from higher concentration to the lower concentration. In that manner, they will exchange the gases with the help of cells. And when we see insects, like insects means you all know many insects you might have remembering, like cockroach, butterflies and termites, many other insects you know. So these insects, how they are doing breathing process, how the respiration takes place in their body. So in these animals, they have tiny pores on their body, and you all know that the insect's body is divided into three parts. Those are head, thorax and abdomen. Head, thorax and abdomen. Near the abdomen part, they have spiracles on their body. Spiracles are nothing but the tiny pores present on their body. So how these spiracles are helping in breathing process we'll see now. In insects body is divided into head, thorax and abdomen. Tiny holes are present. They are known as spiracles. So spiracles will take the air inside. This is the spiracle part. From the spiracle, the air enters into the trachea. You might have seen yesterday's class we discussed about the respiratory system in human beings, right? In human beings, how from our nostril the air enters inside to the trachea, which from the trachea it enters into the chest part. There it will be divided into two bronchi and bronchioles we discussed, right? Same way, insects are also having trachea. From the spiracles, the air enters into the trachea and then the trachea is redivided into many branches like this. Trachea is redivided into many branches and these branches are connected to the each and every cell of the insect body. This divided trachea is connected to each and every part of the cell in cockroach body. So from here, from the spiracle, the air moves through the trachea and into the tracheal branches. These tracheal branches have connection with the cell. So here the exchange of gases takes place. CO2 comes out and O2 goes inside. There the process is same, respiration, breaking down and releasing energy, that will be. So the main respiratory organs in insects are spiracles. Through the spiracles, air goes to the trachea. From trachea to tracheal branches. Each tracheal branch connected to cells so that oxygen is supplied to each and every part of the cell. Understood? So next we come to the aquatic animals. Aquatic animals like fish, when we see how does respiration takes place in fishes, we will see now in fish. How does the respiration takes place? You all know that fishes breathe through the gills. Where are the gills present? The gills are present in fish body. The gills are present just back of their neck part. So they are having gill slits. It is divided into many slits like this. So they are known as gill slits. In your home aquarium, you go near the aquarium and observe how does fish breathe. Okay, so these gill slits are covered by operculum. With a cap-like structure, operculum is present above the gill slits. So whenever it's inhaling the air, it enters inside. And you all know that fish is taking the oxygen from water, which is dissolved in the water. Oxygen it's not taking directly from air. The oxygen which is dissolved in the water, that oxygen fish is breathing. So after inhalation, it closes its mouth, then water enters into its body, it moves above this operculum, above this gill slits, then immediately gill slits absorb that oxygen which is present in the water, and then it reaches to every part of the body. Then in the same manner, they will release CO2 out into the water and it comes outside. So in this way, the fishes are breathing. So till now we discussed about single cell organisms like amoeba, how does it do the breathing process, and multicellular organisms like sponges and jellyfishes, how they are breathing, and insects like cockroaches, how they are breathing we discussed, and aquatic animals like fishes, how do they breathe we understood, right? And next, the other living organisms which are there around us and they are always giving us the important gas. Who are those organisms? They are nothing but our plants. So now we will see how do the plants do the respiration. How do plants do the breathing process? So that we will discuss now. How do plants breathe air? Before moving to the plants, we will see how does the respiration takes place in earthworms and frogs. We forgot about these two animals. In earthworms, how does the respiration takes place in earthworms? In earthworms, through the moist skin. Their skin is always moist in nature. Through this moist skin, the earthworms breathe through the moist skin. The skin is helping to exchange the gases. And in the frogs, even in the frogs, the moist skin is helping to respire. They are amphibians. Frogs are amphibians. Means they can live in the water. They can also live on land. Dual life they are having. So when they are inside the water, their skin is helping to do the respiration. And when they are on the land, just like other organisms, their lungs are helping, like us. Their lungs are helping when they are doing respiration on land. When they are living on the land, their lungs are helping for respiration. And when they are inside the water, their skin is helping to do the respiration process. So till now, single cell organisms like amoeba, sponges, jellyfishes, insects, earthworms, and how frogs are respiring, and how aquatic animals like fish can respire, this all you learned, right? Now we will see how the respiration process takes place in plants. Okay, in plants, how do the respiration process takes place? Like other all living organisms, plants are also doing the respiration process. Either it may be night time or the daytime. And you already know that in their leaves, this you learnt in lower classes that their leaves are having tiny pores and they are known as stomata. Did you remember this? Yes, they have stomata in their leaves, the tiny openings in their leaves known as stomata. So these stomata are helping to exchange the gases. So these stomatas are guarded by some cells. They are known as guard cells. Guard cells are giving protection to this stomata. This tiny openings of leaf known as in leaves, the tiny openings are known as stomata. Stomata is guarded by taking protection by the guard cells. They are helping to open and close the stomata. Opening and closing of stomata is done with the help of guard cells. When they open, they'll take the air inside. When they close this outside, they are releasing the known as stomata. They are helping to do the respiration process in leaves, especially in leaves and in younger stems. In stems, tender stems will be those stems. These tender or younger stems which are just developing stems, they are also doing respiration through stomata. Okay, then in older stems which already developed stems, a thick stem will be no. In such stems, in older stems, how do plants do the respiration process? In older stems, their stem is very thick. There's some layers will be that's known as bark. So how do the bark place respiration takes place? So in the bark, in older stems, they are having some special cells known as lenticels. So these lenticels are helping to do the respiration process. In leaves and younger stems, the respiration is taking place with the help of stomata. And in older stems, where the bark is present, there are special type of cells present. They are known as lenticels. So these lenticels are helping to do the respiration process. They will absorb this gas and they will pass on to the inside cells. And what about the roots? How do the respiration takes place in roots? You all know that the roots are having root hairs. So these root hairs go deep into the soil where the soil particles are present. So some gaps are present between the soil particles. With the help of these root hairs go deep into the in between the soil particles. With the help of these root hairs, they are taking the oxygen present in between the soil particles and they'll transport to the main root system. In this way, the plants are also doing respiration process like other organisms. Okay, that's why when we are planting the saplings, we need to see the soil should be porous in nature. When it is loose in the nature, then it allows more air to pass inside, which helps for the growth of plant. So now in today's class, you learned about the different organisms, how do they respire. We started from the single cell organisms to the multicellular organisms we completed. Like single cell like amoeba, how it is doing the respiration? By the cell membrane. With the help of membrane, it's doing respiration. And multicellular organisms like sponges and jellyfishes are doing respiration with a special type of cells. And then earthworm can respire with the help of moist skin. And frogs are also respiring, and when they are in the water, they are doing respiration with moist skin, and when they are on the land, they are doing respiration with lungs. And insects, we discussed how do respiration takes place in the insects like cockroach we discussed. They have a tiny pores on the body known as spiracles. They open into the trachea. Tracheal branches goes to each and every cell of the body and the respiration takes place. And we also discussed about the fish. How does fish do the respiration? We understood with the help of gill slits. They take the oxygen which is dissolved in the water, right? And we also discussed how does the respiration takes place in plants, in the leaves with the help of stomata, and in younger stems also with the help of stomata, in older stems with the help of lenticels, and in the roots with the help of root hairs, the plants are doing respiration process. Understood, children? Now your homework is draw all these different organisms, what all you have seen today's class. Draw these all the different organisms and how do they respire. Only the respiratory organs you draw and label it. Draw the diagrams of different organisms. Draw the diagrams of respiratory organs. respiratory organs in cockroach, fish and plants. These three enough. And these diagrams are also given in your textbook. So go through the book and draw these diagrams neatly in your notebook and label these diagrams, children. Thank you.